their marriage. And some say Karen should have stayed for the sake of their 14 kids. But does she really have to stay in a situation if someone is ruining their financial life? And so I am actually joined by two of my beautiful queens, Constance Carter, our wealth activist, and Tiara Williams, actress and former reality show producer. Hi, ladies. How are you today? We are going to dive into this. But before we get into this crazy conversation, I want you guys to kind of sit back because we are going to watch a little bit of video that we haven't even seen. The queens haven't even seen. So we want to get your raw reaction, our raw reaction. And if you are just watching, just tuning in, make sure you put your comments in because we want to have this conversation with you. So let's see what we got queued up. I'm a little on edge. I want to see what we get ready to see. This might be exciting. So
this is good life. Jamal, how old are you?
I'm 43.
43. What you do for a living?
I'd rather not say that, but I make over six figures.
So you're a millionaire because over six figures is seven.
Well, I make good money. I'm good. I'm over the range that all the women claim that they want. So
okay, but why can't you tell us how you get the money?
I'm legal. I don't want to put my business out there like that, but I'm legal. I ain't no street.
Because that's the first thing people are gonna think is that your job is not legal.
Well, I'm telling them now I'm legal. I just don't want to put my work sources on the internet. People that know. If I need a match, she'll find out.
Okay, but you make high six figures or mid six figures?
I'm around 250 range, something like that.
Okay. 250 range. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I got 3 kids, 28, 22, and a 5-year-old.
Okay, the 5-year-old, are they all by the same woman?
No.
How many women?
3.
3. Why you not with the 5-year-old mama?
Cause I like young girls, and she wasn't ready. I tried to rob the cradle, and it just.
So you said you like young girls?
Well, I did. I was 31 when we met. She was 22.
Oh, okay. So okay. So y'all can't.
So I don't have like no, street babies. I was in relationships with all their moms, actually. Engaged, so yeah.
They're all relationship babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
All long term too.
All long term. Just never made it to locking it down for being the one.
Yeah, I was actually engaged to all of them, so I tried a few times.
All 3? You were engaged to? Or you were engaged to all 3?
Except my first one. My first one, I was 16, so I had him when I was 16.
What kind of woman are you looking for?
Pretty much, to first start off with, I like a soft-spoken woman. I don't like ghetto women. I don't like manly women. I don't like women that try to put themselves in men positions. I like a soft-spoken woman that's sweet, caring, loving, understanding, that's teachable, and leadable. Because I have a podcast too, and I see all these women, they say they want a God-fearing man and a Christian man and all that, but none of them are Christian women. They just say it with the title. They don't act like it. So a Christian woman knows how to listen, obey, and understand her man. They don't do that. That's their biggest flaw. They always want to, and I think it's because of the fact that they make their own money. They feel like they don't have to listen to nobody. And I think that's the reason why a lot of women are single, because like a man for myself, like, the men that they ask for, the men that will pay bills, that will do all these things that they like, is not going to put up with, tolerate the behavior that they think is okay. So for me, I just like a soft-spoken woman, understanding, able to be, teachable, nurturing, loving, good principles, a woman who's responsible, reliable, and just a woman that know how to speak life into me. I don't require much, so it's really not hard to please me. I just want a woman because how I am, I'm an alpha male, but I'm soft with my woman. She's the only one that see me soft. The world see the different side of me. I'm soft with my woman. But what I've noticed is that kind of was like a thorn in me, because women, when they see you soft, they kind of lose respect for some reason. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand that, because I'm from the era where your woman was the only person that saw you soft. I don't want to be hard around my woman. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I like to leave the streets in the streets and come home to peace, loving, and nurturing. So that's pretty much all for me. And a woman that at least can take care of herself. I'm really not. I wouldn't say I'm stuck on a certain pay grade for a woman, but I just want her to be able to take care of herself.
My man wants a Stepford wife. He don't want a wife. He wants a robot. That okay. Woo!
Now you see the Negro said he likes young women. He wants to be able to mold them. And that's all that's about. He want to control somebody, and that's it. So
right.
That says it all. He's older. He wants a child that he can control.
First of all, he said he was like, I don't require much. I don't want much. But you just named 50 things that you want. If you don't sit down.
And then he doesn't mind what she makes. So she's supposed to work and then come home and also take care of him while he's the soft man. No. This just literally made me sick to my stomach. But let me tell you guys, I know someone like that. Can't stand him, but I know someone like that. We all know somebody like that. And that's a scary thing. The thing that scares me the most is this molding her. No, sir. What's wrong with that? Okay, Tiara.
It's a sassy man apocalypse going on around here. He is in the sassy man tribe, and only a certain type of woman will tolerate that BS because it's ridiculous. I mean, a grown ass woman ain't gonna even deal with that and all of his foolishness.
Yes, I noticed those are the type of men that go on Kendra G, though. Those are the men that, they get on there, and it's a reflection, I think, of the confusion that's in the culture right now with men thinking. I feel like I hear every man on the internet. Now, I don't know about men in real life, but I think men on the internet has created like this thing, whatever that is. Like, she needs to be soft, but she also needs to make her own. But I don't want her to work, but I do want her to work. But I want her to take care of all my kids and take all my toxic ways, and be good with it. Like, it's such a. I think it's so interesting. The internet is so interesting at this point when it comes to dating, especially Black men and Black women.
This is podcast BS. You give anybody a mic and then they start coming up with the most outlandish shit. And I blame Kevin Samuels for starting this BS. And then everybody else taking the reins on. And then it's just like, who could say the most outrageous stuff? Like,
Correct.
Who can say, and then somebody say something, and then it just gets more and more inappropriate and silly. And that's what podcasts have come down to, because it's all about the likes and the views.
Right.
Really.
Oh, exactly. The more outrageous you can be, the better. The things that get the views aren't what real people typically live with every day. We hear the wildest and the craziest stuff, and that's what gets the views. Yeah. But okay, I see. Cece, are you married?
Me, no, not currently. But I was married 132 years. Married for a very long time. And I have 4 amazing children as a result. But yes, no.
Well, so I'm the married one on the panel. So I can say this. I'm telling y'all, if something ever happened to my wonderful husband, because I have a wonderful husband, I'll just be that crazy dog lady on the end of the corner. I'm not going back into this dating pool. I cannot handle this mess. I don't like it. I advise my nieces. I mean, they always come to the auntie to talk about, and these are the men that I tell them to stay away from. But this wraps right back into like perception, what gets the views and what causes people to want to come in and watch the drama, which brings us back to today's toxic thing. We're talking about the Derricos. Now, ex-husband has a lot of drama. Guys, it says that he lied about their finances. Now, how can you be in a marriage and lie about your finances? But not only did he just say what you said, okay, it's not like he didn't have the grocery money. No, my man has been through 6 foreclosures and 5 bankruptcies, and they have 4 daggone children. So I don't know how $90 is supposed to pay for each one, but that's not enough to even feed one child for a couple of days. So Tiara, let me ask you this, because I have a little bit of background in this part too, but I find it really interesting. They're famous because they're on a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
And so in these reality shows, I always tell people that they keep saying, what, life unscripted? No, it's not life unscripted. It's all scripted. What is your experience for these types of shows and pushing the wrong type of story or agenda?
Well, I think it's all about the story, right? I think as a producer, what we would do is I worked on shows like Big Brother, which tend to be like a live show, right? Where you're literally watching things happen in the moment. But for reality shows like this, where they have to shoot a certain amount of content for a certain amount of time, they kind of have to you have to produce things and create scenarios and put people in situations that they would normally be in. You have to kind of force the story and then go back and kind of create it and pull it together. And if you don't have enough story, then you go back and you shoot again and you say, like, we need some more stuff. So you go back or you create things that might not be there. It might be like, if Constance and I are on a show together and I look at her a certain way, and later on I say something to her that's a beef, and then and another time her and I are standing close to each other but we're not talking. We can put that together to make it seem like there's a whole, like, we don't like each other, we ain't never liked each other. That's kind of the nature of this beast. So I think in this situation with the family, um who knows what was scripted. What I do know is obviously they made a certain amount of money being on the show. They obviously needed that money to actually live, right? It wasn't like they were rich and just on a show showcasing, like, this is the way we live. We have 14 kids. I don't know if Karen didn't know that. Like, I don't know if Karen didn't know that her husband wasn't the businessman that he portrayed. But yeah, so you have this situation where it's like, yeah, there's this great businessman. He has all these real estate ventures. He's buying all this property. He's flipping property. He's doing these things. Let's follow that. And then her at home having all these kids. But that wasn't what it was. But that's what it was. But that wasn't what that obviously that wasn't what it was.
Right, right. Now, Constance, you have a little bit of you have real estate experience. So from this standpoint, how could she have not known about these financial things when you were, if she is a homebody, you got to get letters of foreclosure. You don't just get foreclosed on over 24 hours period. It takes a lot of time. So how do you think she overlooked this?
It sounded like he was a smooth talker. She probably could have had all the notifications that came on the door, posted and everything else. But he probably was like, baby, I got it. Don't even worry about it. I'm taking care. Obviously, this man's a smooth talker because he talked his way out of some child support too. So, I mean, obviously, with being in real estate, he probably was able to put some things in his corporation, and he was probably able to purchase some things as an individual. There's all kind of savvy ways that you could do things. He could have had things go into another address. You have your mailing address and you have the actual address. Well, of course, if it's a foreclosure, they'd have to post the information on the door. So she probably did find out. But I do believe that he probably was just a slick talking Negro, and that's what ended up happening. And he surprised everybody because listen, if the man could pay $1,100 a month in child support for 14 kids, it's like less than $100 a month. He is phenomenal. He is phenomenal.
He needs another kind of job, because if he can get that kind of
listen, he got some pass-throughs going on. He is finagling and finessing and everything else, because there's no way. There's no way. He should say that he is on the streets. Like, if you got 14 kids and you pay less than $100 a month, that means you have no place to stay. You are living in your car, because there's no way that he could actually have anything and be paying that type of money for child support.
I agree. If you're just joining us, you're watching Fly Nubian Money, and we are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss an episode, so make sure that you text the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948, and you'll get a notification every time that we go live. Now, if you miss a show and you want to hear everyone and everything that we're doing here, you want to make sure that you go over to Spotify. go to Spotify and type in Fly Nubian Money. We are there as well. So we can be with you on the road. You can listen to us while you're having coffee, your wine for the evening. Maybe we can even put you to sleepy night if you listen to it, so that you can have some fun and some fun dreams. But don't forget that you also can really get some great resources about finances at our website, and that's flynubianmoney.com. And we have a lot of free resources and courses for you to get your money right. Get your money right. So in today's episode, we're talking about the Derrico family and their divorce and their 14 children and all the financial shenanigans that's going on. And I'm joined by my co-queens, Constance and Tiara. Tiara, I got another question for you about reality TV. And then I want to share my little experience that I have with reality TV. With this being known, what you've already told us, at what point do you think the network knew about this, and did they ignore it, or do you think they even knew about it at all?
TLC is a family network. So even if, let's just say Karen found out years ago that her husband was fraudulent and that he actually didn't have no money. Because Constance, I don't think he got no money. I don't think he got money, sis. Like, I just don't believe it. I feel like he's a bum, and a bum that's been trying to get over and trying to look a certain way. And I saw some quotes on the forum or on the show that's saying that he was always talking about what he was paying and what he was doing and how he was moving, but he was just really fraudulent. It almost reminds me of what's the lady on Steve Harvey's morning show?
Oh yeah, Strawberry.
Shirley Strawberry. It reminds me, there's some parallels between this guy and her ex-husband. Almost like I almost see the same kind of thing going on. Anyway, you didn't ask me that, so I'm gonna get back to your question. What you asked me was I'm gonna go back to your question. So you asked me if ask me one more time, because I be going on.
Do you think that the TLC actually knew about this and just ignored it, or do you think they were in the dark?
That's what you asked me. Right. So TLC is a family show, right? And a family network. And I believe that even if they knew that the Derricos were in trouble, it's something like you can't really break it up. It's almost like if celebrities have this this entanglement, or like this they have this perspective, or this perception, right? They have this brand that they, you can't necessarily, it's not just so easy to be like, well, I'm gonna go my way and you go yours. They have this thing together. They built this thing that I don't know how many seasons they had together, but they were following the money. I believe if you got 14 children, even if they wanted to break up, even if Karen was like, man, this man is fraudulent, we are going to, obviously she knew they were going through bankruptcies. They were going through foreclosures. Like, these are things that were going on. At some point she had to be like, I don't want to be in this anymore. This man is not a good leader. He's irresponsible. He's not good for me. He's going to financially ruin my life, right? Because that goes on her credit. Y'all got to let me know. That goes on because they're married. So that's her debt too. That's
Not
her.
necessarily.
Those are her issues.
It depends on how he financed them.
Okay, so she doesn't, if he did it through his business, then it's not. But you asked me about TLC. So I believe that TLC could have known that this was going on, but everybody has a part to play, because at the end of the day, it's all an illusion anyway. It's all, scripted television, just like, some of the movies you watch. It may be a little looser, right? Like in terms of the way they approach it, but it's definitely has to have like a formula. They got to they got to stick to the script.
And that's what's going to lead me into my little story about what I know about reality TV and real estate. So before I get into that, I do want to address a couple of comments that we had, and we'd love for you guys to comment. We love it because we love the conversation. So keep it coming. So Karen says, I still say all these shows are messing up our children for finding partners with respect. I think that's a valid point. And Constance, I'm going to give you a question after this about that. I want to talk to you about maybe the children. And then Gino says, you don't know enough about the man to say he's a fraud. If you had 15 kids, you would be financially stretched then too.
Do I have
Okay. I'm sorry, but what we do know and what has been let out, because it wasn't let out before, is all we knew that there was financial issues. And that's something that you definitely talk to your partner about. It's not like you go hiding it. She could have been blindsided by this. But let me tell you my little story about real estate and reality TV. So I had a listing, and it was actually in California, close to Sherman Oaks, and it was one of the worst, scariest houses that I had ever listed. Okay. And it was bank owned. And so it was in horrible shape. I'm telling you, I think there was some voodoo going on there. I kid you not. That's a sad story, but I digress. And so TLC came to me and said, we need to use your house for a show. And I was like, okay, how can I help you? Well, we don't need you. We just need the house. Because it was one of those shows that you're supposed to go see 3 houses and choose one. Had already closed on a house, moved into the house, and then went and found 2 other houses to record. How much reality is that, might I ask you? They had already closed. So guys, don't get caught up in this reality TV because there's nothing really real about it. So I could see how they wouldn't, even if they did know, wouldn't say anything because it kind of falls into their agenda. Now, this may be a spinoff show for Karen.
Hopefully.
Okay.
I hope she has that. I hope she gets that opportunity.
Yeah, I do too, because you know what? That's a lot of mouths to feed, and less than $100 for each child is absolutely crazy. So, Constance, you said you have children, and you've been you're divorced. So, my question to you is, how do you think that this affects the children? I know that your situation is different. You're not in a reality show, but you can discuss, some of the effects that children have with divorce.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have 4 children, and 3 of them are now divorced. 3 of them, divorced. 3 of them are now young adults. 3 of them, because I've been divorced maybe a year and a half now, but 3 of them were underage when we separated. And yeah, I mean, I when I got divorced, I picked up and I moved across the country from California to DC. So when you talk about a whole life shift, right? I snatched them away from their friends, their family, and it's definitely something that drastically affects the kids. But I also do believe, because now what I'm learning now that I'm divorced is the trauma that they had faced when we were together. And I thought about this particular show, and I'm thinking, damn, it had to be pretty darn bad if this lady is willing to say, I will take me and my 14 kids and we getting the hell up out of here because I just cannot take this toxicity anymore. It has to be pretty darn bad, because I know for me, I thugged it out a lot longer than I probably should have. And when I talk to my children today, they tell me about all the things that happened to them, because I was the breadwinner. I'm at work all day. I'm the first one in, the last one out, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things that I missed because I was out there hustling. So imagine what these poor children had to endure if this lady said, I'm just gonna take 14 of us and bounce because I just can't do it with this person I'm with. He has to be had to be pretty bad. Because I would have to weigh that. I have 4. So 4 add 10 more on that. It's like,
That's a scary thought. That's a lot of people in one house, and not 2 parents to deal with what is going on in everyday life with them. It's crazy. So if you're just now joining us, you're watching Fly Nubian Money. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you don't want to miss an episode. So you want to make sure that you text the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948 to receive notifications. And sometimes we have some pretty cool specials on that. So you want to make sure that you text that today so that you don't miss out. Then you want to make sure you head on over to Spotify and look us up over there at Fly Nubian Money and subscribe to us there. And while you're there, why don't you go ahead and give us a good rating, because this show is good. So give us a good rating over there as well. And finally, if you're really looking to get some information about getting your financial house in order, we have resources for you as well. All you have to do is go to our website, which is flynubianmoney.com. And we have great courses and resources for you to start there because, you always got to have your money right. And that's exactly what I want to ask now, because with Karen being pretty much a single mother. I mean, I know that he may still be in their life. We don't know. We'll see how the rest of this unfolds. But she would be technically a single mother now, moving them all into one spot. Tiara, do you see how she could possibly use this to her advantage to get income in with more types of shows?
Yeah, it just depends on how savvy she is as a woman, right? It depends on how, the question is, if you haven't seen, okay, if you've been at home just kind of like living in a bubble, right? And not really paying attention to what's been going on around you and with your husband, it makes me question, it makes me question you. Like it makes me question Karen and her accountability and how much of this is her fault, right? Should we just say like helpless woman that's been at home just rearing kids, having kids, or when you started to notice red flags, why you still decided to have the other 5 kids or 7 kids or 10 kids? Like when did you start to notice that your husband wasn't a good leader? Or did you always know that, right? So that's not what you asked me. But what I know is but what I know, but it just makes me think about that because it makes me question her character and how savvy she can be after this. But she can get on GoFundMe. People do that and they get millions and millions of dollars. That's a thing. It just depends on the way she wants to spend it, or she can start to have those meetings with TLC and other shows. Again, if she's savvy, put a little package together and go out and see what she can get. But I would hope that they offer her something. I hope that she is savvy enough. I hope that this situation has made her a smarter woman, that's made her a little more shrewd and a little less like gullible, all the things, right? So I hope that for her. I wish that for Karen.
I want to piggyback on that though. I mean, I think that TLC would be it would be in their benefit to offer her something at this point because it's a hot topic and they would definitely get the ratings if they did like a life after for her. So I think
Yeah.
that it would be to their benefit. So I believe that they will. I don't even know if she has to do anything, but to speak to her character as a woman, unless you've been married and you understand the institution of marriage and what that looks like, and then having children. And then she has 14 kids. I got 4. I barely knew what was going on in my household with 4 children, right? I barely knew what was going on with my spouse with 4 children. So imagine having I can't even, like, my house is chaotic with 4 children. You know what I'm saying? You guys, like, understand that it is a lot. When I look at, being I'm being a single mother for the first time. And I'm like, damn, this is hard because it's just me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have anybody I could bounce anything off of. My kids, my son got into a car accident last week. My other son towed my car a week before. My daughter banged up my car a week before. And I'm just like, it's always something with these kids. And I don't have anybody that I could just like defer to or say, help me out or talk to or just anything, just yelling at them to clean up behind themselves or whatever. Just having to imagine 14 kids. I got 4 and 3 of them during the year. 1 of them's in college, then 2 is getting ready to go to college, but it's a lot. So I can't say that she wasn't a savvy person. And then to talk about the institution of marriage, right? So my kids ask me to this day, Mom, why you stay so long? Why were you with this person? This is your daddy. I'm like, you wouldn't have been here if I wasn't. And so now I look back at it and I'm like, you're right. But I'm thinking this is my husband. Biblically, we were taught to stay together till the end of our lives. This is a contract and this is a covenant. And we did this before God. And no matter what, we got to go through this for the rest of our lives. Ebbs, flows, peaks, valleys, all of these things. And so, yeah, there may be some flaw in his character, but you don't run at the first sign of trouble or the second or maybe even the 10th because we were taught and ingrained in our minds. This is what marriage looked like for good, for bad, for better, for worse, all of those things. And so you have, you got to look at it from her perspective. And then on top of that, if I can reiterate one more time, 14 kids. So, I mean, like that right there he would have had to been beat my ass when we leave with 14 kids. Like, you know, mismanagement, money, I don't care. 14, I need help. You know what I'm saying? So it had to be pretty damn messed up for her to leave that marriage with 14 kids.
And that's what I think. You know, I think what we're being fed is what we're being fed. And I think that they also drip these things and milk it for as long as they can. You're right. 14 kids, you barely can get up and brush your own hair.
Yeah.
To get these babies out of the and off to school. You're busy doing the cleaning. You're busy doing everything else. And a lot of times, if you are trusting your husband as the head of the household to handle things, you're trusting him to do that. But I also see an opportunity for her. They did it for the mother. When was that one woman who had all them babies? And then they ended up
Octa lady.
Octo mom.
Octo mom.
Kate and then
Kate Gosselin.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, they gave her another show, and she succeeded very well. But let me tell you something, Karen. There are T-shirts, there are books on how to be a mother of multiple people. There is talking places that you can go and stand and do your guest speaking. Don't you let this hold you back, because you got a lot of experience that you possibly didn't even think about. So I hope that platform does open up for her. But Constance, you made a really good point. Do you ever think that there's the right time to end a long-term marriage, especially with so many kids involved?
Yeah, that's tough, because people have endured a lot for the sake of the kids. Now, do I think for the sake of the kids is the reason to stay? Absolutely not. Because again, like for me, I didn't know during the times that we were together certain things that were going on until now they got good and grown. Now they're sharing with me and them telling me, I wish you would have done X, Y, and Z. So I don't think you ever should stay together for the sake of the kids, ever. But damn, 14 kids, then you got to weigh that, right? Because you're like, oh no, because that's it's not normal. It's different. It's like, well, I think I might be able to do it with 3 or 4. 14. He had to be a tyrant. He had to be going in there raising hell every day, just kicking stuff and punching like 14. Because that's the only way I can see I can escape this.
You know what though? I'm gonna say this. My grandmother had 12. And I feel like our grandmothers had 14 and 12. My dad's mother had 18 children, right? I'm not saying that you can't really do that now, but we all made it. Like, my grandmother's children made it. Everybody made it. And my grandfather did not stay. He's actually my great grandfather. He didn't stay, right? They broke up and he left and went and started a family somewhere else. But he left my grandma with 12 children. There was a lot of people. So everybody took care of each other. So the kids, at some point, that 18-year-old gonna have to help.
Oh, the 18-year-old is already, what is that, a boy or girl?
I think it's a boy.
It's a boy. Okay.
18-year-old is already daddy. My oldest daughter claims she's a second mama. I raised these boy, girl, you ain't did nothing. 14 kids, yeah, you might be the second mama.
Yeah.
Now we have a really good comment from Chica Go Chick. I like that, Chica Go Chick. I can't see how Karen didn't know. Maybe she didn't. If she wants to take herself and 14 kids, where can she go? With whom? I love that family, but she's not Kate +8 type of woman.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Why wouldn't she be a Kate +8 type woman in reality shows? Well, I can only say that maybe she's saying that because she's not white. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she's saying, but I think in this climate, in this time, if they already have had like a show on television, they're already a recognizable brand. So, people will know Karen's story. They don't have to do too much on this end to brand her and reintroduce the public to her. They know who she is. So I think that it would be. I don't know if this young lady is saying that she's not smart enough or she's not savvy enough. I have not watched the show. I have not watched reality television since I left as a producer, because I feel like it was something that we haven't talked about. I feel like reality TV, and I was a reality producer from 2008 to 2018. And like I said, I worked on some of the shows, some of the bigger shows, and I just feel like it has taught the public there's been residual effects for our community for reality
Right.
TV, and this is why I've left. Right, I think that we lacked. Conflict resolution skills. There's certain things that I feel like that whole like mind numbing watching people fight and over trivial things, and some of the things that we've seen are people trying to act out just to be famous, just to sell merchandise, just to be online and to be able to be and to make yourself a brand, right? Let me tell you, you go to a red carpet event, and between the reality stars and actually like Angela Bassett and some of the other real stars, you don't know the difference, because the reality
Wow.
stars, you'd be like, you don't know who I am. I was on whatever, like whatever foolishness they were on. And so I had to leave it for that reason. I feel like it's taught our girls toxicity in the wrong ways, and I felt like I was contributing to that message and contributing to that, and I just didn't want to be part of that.
That's good. Can I ask Tiara something? Why is it only pushed in on the black shows and not on the white shows?
um it's so funny because white people get to do all the things. They get to run an Amazing Race. They get to play games on Big Brother. And not that black people don't get to play games on Big Brother. I worked on Big Brother for a really long time. Um, but I feel like, I mean, I worked on like what is it, Scared and Naked and Afraid, and I feel like white people get to do whatever. They get to go and
And we
whatever
get to do
show,
what? Fight.
and we get to fight, and we get to and no shade to Mona Scott. I share a space with her for a little bit, and I really, like, I wanted to ask her, like, how do you feel about the franchise? This is a stupid question that you've created, because I saw so many flaws in it, and really it's what drove me to start my own production company. But I just saw I think what Love and Hip Hop was supposed to be, when Jim Jones and Chrissy approached Mona and they were supposed to do it. It's supposed to be like about people that loved one another and loved hip hop. It was supposed to be about like music, and it was just supposed to be a different thing. And then it became something else, where you saw these, in my opinion, these young women with low self-esteem chasing rappers, and rappers being toxic. And I mean, over the years it's evolved into something completely different. But yeah, I think that just like in movies, Constance, we get to see white people do all the things. Like, right, in movies we get to see white people be Dumb and Dumber, and all the things that white people get to do in movies. They get to live in these um these alternate universes and play these things. And I think they also get to live that out in reality TV too. Us, unfortunately, we have cookout. We end up doing we have a cookout movie, and we end up doing an electric slide at the end. And that pretty much is the gambit of what we get to see black people do,
Don't
unfortunately.
forget
Wouldn't it
the
be
church.
great though?
Don't forget the church scene. We got to have the church scene.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta have the Lord for sure.
And right, wouldn't it be great though? And I think it would be a great surprise if we seen reality shows that had happy endings, if we seen people loving on each other. And I hope that's what you're doing with your new production company. But it would be, I think the executives will be pleasantly surprised at the ratings that they would get from black people and the support that they would get from black people if they started putting out or producing positive things, and black people were in droves watching these things. I think they would be pleasantly surprised.
But that's
Mm-mm.
what
You
that's
know
what
what?
we talk about, the ratings. They consider that boring. They like to see the fighting and the kicking.
I haven't seen any alternatives. What alternatives do we have? If they present an alternative, perhaps we would watch.
So it's so funny because we used to watch positive things in the 90s, right?
Mhm.
Early 2000s, there were all kinds of things on TV, right? Until we got introduced to this whole reality show thing. But it's so funny because I started my production company actually in 2012, and I started it because Deborah Lee was saying something about black people not supporting positive programming enough, to the point where they would make it. So they went where the money was. And I remember being so angry about that. Like I was like, but you got to put it on TV. Just like we've been programmed to like junk food. Sometimes we got to be programmed to like spinach all over again. You have to change that. You have to change that palate a little bit. It might take some time, but I don't think they don't want to wait for that. They don't have the patience for that. It's just like, will it make money now?
Mm.
Yeah, everything is an instant world, an instant world. And that, I think that's part of the problem. If it doesn't give instant gratification in everything that you do, nobody wants to put their money where their mouth is. This is why AI is also very dangerous right now in all of the industries, because it's instant gratification without quality or craft. So I think it's really hard to change people quickly in their mindsets. But we've been talking about how Karen can possibly revive things and be able to care for these children on such little child support. And by the way, if she's not really stable, how's she paying for the insurance? Because honey baby girl, insurance
Honey,
will
baby.
take you down.
Yes, it
Insurance will
will.
take you down. So I want to talk about Kevin, because we talk about the money, like buying houses and flipping houses and all that stuff does take money. Can he recover from this? My thought is this: is knowing so much about REO. I deal with REO a lot of the times. You have to really be far behind before they start on your door and sending the letters and everything else, because it costs a lot of money to do this. Now, if he did these things within an LLC or his corporation, he can very easily bounce back, guys, by just opening another corporation. Whereas I don't see how Karen could do anything in real estate if she didn't have the credit or the ability to tap into money and funds that are not related to a bank. So, Tiara, do you think that now he also has an opportunity to come back to TLC and say, make me the good guy? Because guys, we know Trump does it. Trump did it all the time. So why can't he come in and do the same thing and be like, from grave to success? Do you think that's a story?
I love that you said that. See, yeah, giving him some grace, because I wasn't gonna give it to him. I feel like, I don't know if his lead, and I don't know him. I know somebody in the comments was like, y'all don't even know him to be talking about him like that. But what we know is there's a paper trail, right? There's a paper trail that says that he has five bankruptcies and 6 foreclosures. And for the real estate queens, y'all gotta explain to me what that means and what that means for his life, right? Like, can he bounce back with just like a different LLC or by starting another corporation? I don't know if TLC will touch it, because it is a family show, and because there is a bit of there's negativity attached to this, right? Like, he's it's I mean, from what I see, he's been fraudulent. He hasn't been doing what he's supposed to be. He hasn't been doing the right things with his money. It says to me that
So
he's
my
not a
question is,
businessman.
who's going to touch him with the finances, And let me correct myself, guys. I got all worried about Karen, but I think I called him out of his name by calling him Kevin. His name is Dion. Sorry, y'all, I get the wrong
Kevin
name.
Samuels.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I don't got all into this. So I see, and Constance, about real estate. Do you feel like he may be able to tap into some funds? Because a lot of the times when people are saying, fix and flip, you don't use your own money. You use other people's money. Do you think anybody will be willing to touch him to move on?
Of course. I mean, I filed bankruptcy in 2009. In 2010, I opened up my real estate company, which went on to become the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. So yeah, you can bounce back. Like, money thing is easy. That's not a hard thing to do. If you know how to make money, you lose it all, you know how to make it back. Like, if you've made it, if you got it out the mud in the first place. So sure. But in terms of reality, I don't think they're gonna give his black ass another opportunity. By the way, is his hair blonde or white? That's blonde, huh?
It's blonde. He's going through a
Okay.
midlife crisis. He's
Okay.
Yeah.
53, by the way, and she's 40.
He's what?
She's 40. She's 50. He's 52. She's 43.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's horrific. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think they're going to give him another opportunity on a reality show. They would be stupid if they did. And they may do it just for that reason. But all the bad press that he's getting, I don't think they're going to give him a chance. But people, I think they like a redemption story. So they might give her something. But in terms of the money thing, anybody can bounce back from anything if he's smart enough.
That's the
If he's
question. Is he
proven,
smart enough?
I have it right. I have a question. So, Okay, so in terms of foreclosures and both, like that's a double thing, right? You said one bankruptcy. What if you have five bankruptcies and six foreclosures? Does that matter? It
No.
doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
No,
But I don't understand how he's had so many bankruptcies when you can only do so many within 10 years. So
a
how did he
certain
have
amount of time.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
Vegas, isn't it? Is it vacant? He could have
Yeah.
possibly had more foreclosures in different states.
Is it more? Is it different businesses? What if it's different? If
if
it's
it's
under
been
a different.
well, yeah, and if it's a business, that's easy. You open up a business, you file chapter 11 on that one, and you start over and you start over. I mean, that's
Mm,
the Trump way. So yeah,
That's the
that's
Trump
easy.
way.
Yeah.
That's the
okay.
Trump way.
Mhm.
Woo, Lord help me, Jesus. That just
That,
makes me
that just means he's
crazy.
he's a savvy business investor, according to the Republicans and Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Hmm,
If you're just
got it.
joining us, you're watching Flying Nubian Money. We are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss an episode, so make sure that you text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. And we sometimes have goodies, so you want to make sure that you get in on that. And don't forget that we are now on Spotify. So all you have to do is go on over there and type in Fly Nubian Money, and you will find us there. Take us wherever you go. Like, oh, did I miss a shot? Do it on Spotify. Easy to do. But if you want to get your financial house in order and you really don't even know where to start, you can join us on our website at flynubianmoney.com, where we have free financial resources, courses, and more. And we do like to talk about pop culture and how it also affects money. This is very much a money conversation because you're talking about bankruptcy, which most people don't understand that you can bounce back from. Thank you, Constance, for reminding people of that. And we're also talking about foreclosures, which doesn't mean that if you've had a foreclosure or two or three or six, that you couldn't start over again. I've had clients, guys, that have lost homes twice and were able to buy a third home. And I've had clients that had two bankruptcies and were able to buy another home. So, Constance, have you seen this a lot in your business where people can get their financial houses in order and still be able to own their own roof over their head?
Absolutely. I mean, I do trainings all the time with people who have had bankruptcy because people have to decide. Bankruptcy is a really serious thing. And when I filed bankruptcy, I was like, this was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. That was a lie. That was the easiest thing I ever did. It was probably the best thing I've ever done financially, right? Because I was in a financial quandary. I had overextended myself. I had more month than money. I had these properties that were upside down because it was a middle of 2008, 2009, the foreclosure crisis. And so when I went into bankruptcy court, it was like gloomy. The sky was gray. And I went in there and I was scared. And when I came out, Lord, it was like the sky was blue, the birds was chirping, and the sun was out, and it was beautiful. But if you're in a financial quandary and you have to make that decision, it might be something that you should do, because for me, I had to look at it like this. If the total debt I have is going to take me over 2 years to pay, let me go ahead and get rid of it. And the reason why I say that is because in 2 years after you file bankruptcy, you can purchase a home again. So if I got $50,000 in debt, and I want to be a good steward, I do. No, not really. But if I have $50,000 in debt, it's going to take me 6 years to pay it off. Chapter 7 that mug. I won't chapter 13. I will chapter 7 it, and then I can reset and restart my life and go. And you just have to remember to fix your stuff after bankruptcy. So I do trainings and things all the time on my Grow Your Money Club, where I help people fix their credit after bankruptcy. I show them how to invest. I show them to do all the things in order to get back in position. So if I just feel like my hardships are the blueprint to help other people, because I've been through that.
That part. And that is the reason, I also teach first time home buyers classes. Like, you can be financially responsible, but you don't have to think that everything is over if you filed bankruptcy or if you've had a foreclosure. I've helped so many people, but the first thing is to get educated. Constantly, you are so right. Out of necessity, I call it mother necessity, because when I first got into real estate, my real estate agent, I wasn't in real estate. He was horrible. So when I decided to get into real estate, I was like, I'm gonna do everything opposite of what he did and educate people as well. So I don't think that either one of these people's lives are over. I think that they could definitely recover. I think that they can use this to launch into more things. I know we've thrown out the orange one's name once or twice today, but that is a lot. People always look up to him, and that's why they think that he's a smart businessman, because it doesn't matter how many bankruptcies and stuff that he's had. He's able to bounce back, and just because he could doesn't mean that we can't. We just need to know the type of resources that we can tap into in order to continue to grow. So I do want to bring this up because someone in the comments earlier, I missed this comment, like, where is she going to live? Well, you know what? He did lose the home that they were living in. And that's what concerns me, in the fact that if that was where the home was, they are still going to come and knock on your door. So my concern with that is, how could she not have known about at least that home? Because we have to post those notices on the door, whether it's a tenant there or people who actually live there. So how can she, in this situation, even if she did or didn't know, we've got all these kids, how could she possibly teach her children that this is a learning lesson? Tiara, do you think that she would be able to educate her children through this? Because children are not going to not know about this. This is public.
Yeah, I think experience is the greatest teacher. I think that they are watching, absolutely watching their mother and their father go through this very public, divorce and battle. And I think that they've learned lessons. If the younger children, obviously there's younger children, so maybe they don't know everything that's going on, but the older children may know what's going on and learn lessons. And then I'm sure she's saying, like, make sure you're paying attention, and there's conversation. I'm hoping there's conversations being had, but I think that experience is the greatest teacher. And I'm pretty sure that after this, she won't find herself in a marriage full of riddled with red flags. Hopefully she can, if
Prayerfully.
she
We can
right,
only pray.
prayerfully, hopefully she doesn't end up in the same situation. It's so interesting that we have these conversations about whether she'll be able to find love again. It makes me think of how people are like, she should have stayed with him because they have 14 kids together. Who's going to want to somebody with 14 children, but there's somebody out there for everyone. So I'm praying that the children recover, and they will. I think everybody, like Constance says, I love what you said, Constance. A lot of what you said, because you're absolutely right. Everyone will be all right. Hard times come and they go, and there's ebbs and flows of life. And, I hope the kids will gain. I'm pretty sure they're not uh, stupid children, so that they're paying attention to what's going on, and children are very intuitive. So I'm sure they'll understand at
Can
some
I
point.
add to that though? And I love what you said, experience being the best teacher, because it is. And then you said about people saying who's going to be with her with 14 kids. Y'all know Kiki Wyatt got about 12 or 13 of them, and she got a new boo. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know that,
Baby,
right?
exactly.
But let me,
Exactly.
let me also add to that, just here's what I think as parents we need to do. As a mother of 4 children, one of the things that I tell my kids when they tell me, certain experiences that they've had or trauma or whatever, I try to explain to them that I'm a real human being, right? I just
Mhm.
try to explain to them that, like, mommy is not perfect. I lived my life trying to create experiences for my children, trying to do things that I never got to do. Like when I was growing up, we never rode in the car as a family. So I made sure we were always rode in the car as a family. We never ate dinner at the dinner table. So I made sure we always ate dinner. Well, not always, but we ate dinner at the dinner table. Significant moments. We never went on vacation in my family. So we always went on vacation as a family, right? But there were the other things that I missed. I was trying to create these other experiences that I didn't have, recreate them for my kids, that I missed out on certain other things. And so
Hmm.
the things that I tell my kids now is that mommy messed up in some way. I have all the answers. I'm a real human being. And yeah, I missed the mark in some areas. And, I try to create, but here's what I did do. I did the very, very best I could. Fell
Hmm.
short in some areas. I messed up. I wasn't always available. I was working my ass off to create these experiences for you guys, but I am human. And when you get up and you become adults, you just try to do better. And so I think as parents, with her, that's the lesson that I would hopefully she takes from this, is just saying, I am human. And I may not have made all the right choices and right decisions, and I might not have done all the right things. However, I've done the very best thing that I could. And that's all I got to give you, kids. And, they appreciate that. My kids appreciate that shit. They just be like, my mom is dope. And
Yeah.
mom is not perfect, far from it, but they think I'm pretty dope just because I'm real with them in that way.
You know
I
what?
think
Can I
that's
just?
really
I'm
great.
sorry. Can I also add to? I just want, and I'm gonna shut up. I love that. I love what you just said. But then also, when your kids get your age, when your kids get into the workforce, when they get kids, they'll be able to be like, you know what?
Right.
Actually, my mom did a pretty good damn job. Like,
Yeah.
because kids get that perspective from time and experience, and I
Agreed.
love that. Go ahead. I'm
Amen.
sorry, Lala.
Amen.
No, I was just gonna say that is so wonderful. My child is 37, so he's grown, right? But he
Yeah.
really went through a tough period of his life struggling with addiction, and it's okay for me to say that because he allows me to share his story. And at that time, I had to be the best mother that I could be, and that's when I had to rely on, this is the skills that I taught you. This was the best that I knew that I could do. But at some certain point, you have to learn to flap your wings and get strong enough to decide that you want to take over in your life. My son and I are very close, and I'm very happy to say just the last couple of weeks, he literally called me and said, Mom, I am so glad that you taught me this, this, and this, because most of the people my age don't know this. And even though I was going through my addiction, I always fell back on what you taught me. So I don't, we sure lessen the fact that what we teach our children, what we structure our children in the best way that we possibly can, never really leaves them. So never think that you're being too short about what you're teaching them in life, because maybe just a small little thing will get them through a very tough time. And oh my God, I cannot believe that we have gone through this hour. I think we have really touched on a lot of great information about, reality TV. Is it real? Is it not? How does this affect financial? How can you bounce back? There's hope for you if you're going through something like this as well. So I'm going to end the conversation by allowing my queens to give their final thoughts about this. And please also let us know where we can find you. We'll start with you, Tiara.
So I just believe that we don't have to always go through experiences. I know we were just talking about experience being the best lesson, but I think it's so great that God allows us to watch other people's experiences and extract lessons from those things. So I don't have to have 14 kids and a terrible husband to know that I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want 5 bankruptcies and 6 foreclosures. I don't want that life in my life, right? And so, thank goodness there's people around us that are having those experiences that we can watch and go, wow, nope, nope. But we had a conversation and it wasn't from a place of judgment. I love how, all of the queens also extended grace, and it wasn't about bashing one person or the other. We're just all trying to have this experience, right? We're trying to all live this life out, and sometimes we don't always get it right. So that's what I got from today, and I love that. If you are interested in learning more about me, I am at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. That's MSBLACK Hollywood. And yeah, check me out. I also have a company. We're called Real Virtual. That's REEL virtual.net. And if you are interested in writing anything creative, your first film project, a book, anything creative, you reach out and let us know.
You're muted.
No, you are muted because she is
Building
going
your
in too.
empire. Building your empire. I want that in. Proud of you.
You so
Constance,
dope, Tiara. You
I
so
know,
dope.
right? Superwoman.
I
So,
love it.
Constance, what are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Man, listen, you put that thing in perspective. I don't need to have 14 babies, 6 bankruptcies, 5 foreclosures, or whatever it was. That is you think your life is bad. Try 14 kids, a single mom, 6 bankruptcies, 5 foreclosures. It's crazy. In any case, I just think that, we just need to focus on just doing and being the best people and the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And I pray that she has a great life, and I pray that she can bounce back from this. And if she's able to parlay this into an opportunity, I think that will be awesome. There are a lot of things online, about her and the red flags and calling her stupid and all kind of things. But you got to think about it. When somebody has 14 kids, you have to put a lot of thought in separating yourself. So understand that, being married is tough. And I, when you talk about, hopefully she doesn't get back into that situation again. I pray I pray that I find, a great man that loves me and loves all of my kids, even though they damn near grown. So it's, you kind of like look at these situations and think to yourself, how can I improve from looking at somebody else? And that's what I've taken from this. But anyway, she can bounce back. He can bounce back. For me, follow me on I Am Constance Carter on all platforms. Go to constancecarter.com to get more information. I have the Grow Your Money Club, where you can learn all about how to grow your money and not blow your money. Just different ways. I have tons of trainings and masterminds. I also have the Net 7 Collective, where I coach Black women from all over the country. I am getting ready to start my 4th cohort of the Net 7 Collective. And this is Black women from 25 to 80, from your startup entrepreneur to successful business owners, from me with a PhD, a public high school diploma, to actually I've coached Harvard PhDs. And I just show them in a very safe and very loving environment how to not only get money, but to be able to keep it, to be able to increase their net worth by 7 figures. And so that's my passion project at this juncture of my life. I went from helping thousands of people build wealth through real estate to helping Black women specifically, because I believe that the African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. And so my contribution to closing the wealth gap is really with Black women. And my passion right now is really with Black women and helping them to really be able to grow so that they can help themselves and the community. So that's where I'm at.
And this is why I absolutely love being a part of this network, because if you notice, I am surrounded by queens that uplift others. And this is why it's really important that you make sure you still follow us, because no matter, I'm like tearing up, because I've got 2 queens here who have nothing but uplifting things to say. And my message to you is, don't get so wrapped up in somebody else's life journey that you can't take care of your own. It's fun to look at other people and have your personal opinion about their lives. But are you looking at the skeletons in your closet? Are you cleaning out those cobwebs in your closet? Are you making sure that you're financially stable? Are you taking care of your body, mind, and spirit? Because all we got is this one life, and we want to make it the best life journey that we have. And you can find me, I made it real simple. Just go to bit.ly/Laura Key Info, and you'll find me on all of my platforms. Guys, what a show. What a show. I want to take the time to say thank you to each and every one of you who have watched, who have commented, who have shared, who have just laughed with us and also put in your questions. This is really important to us. So we hope that it's just important to you that you never miss a show. We are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Always catch us here, or you also can find us on Spotify. But if you don't want to miss an episode, all you have to do is text the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948. And if you find yourself in a situation where you really need to get your financial house in order, you can come to our website, flynubianmoney.com, where we have free courses, free resources, and you can start really seeing and put things down on how you can also become financially successful as well. Once again, we thank you for being here. Make sure that you come and join us tomorrow, because we're going to be here 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Queens, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for being my co-queens. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good day. Bye.